The film opens with a father who has fled his people to protect his daughter, Eve. While doing ballet, Eve confronts her father about how she misses her sister, but he doesn't reciprocate and gives her an ice globe with a dancing ballerina in it. When the sun goes down, some mercenaries track them down and ambush them. The father fights the mercenaries and manages to hide Eve in a secret room behind the bookshelf, from where she secretly watches her father getting beaten up. The mercenaries' chancellor arrives and confronts the father about the escape. He accuses him of abducting Eve and getting his wife killed, which was triggered by his actions. When the chancellor extends his hand to give the father a gun to shoot himself, Eve notes a burnt cross mark on his wrist and memorizes it. Just as the father agrees to shoot himself, Eve intervenes and distracts the group. Another fight breaks out, in which the father gets shot multiple times. Eve, despite being very young, shoots an assassin who's about to kill her father. The two escape and make it to the shore where the father dies. Eve, with her ice globe, manages to escape and find Winston, the owner of the Pearl Continental. Winston takes her straight to the Ruska Roma, where our legendary John Wick was raised and trained. It happens to be a theater company that holds ballet performances in the front and harbors deadly assassins in the back. Eve is introduced to the director, who offers her the option to become an ordinary ballerina or channel her anger into something productive. In the heat of the moment, Eve chooses to be trained as an assassin. Winston praises her choice and hands her a gold coin, which can be redeemed for favors. The scenes fast forward 12 years. Eve is now all grown up and is seen performing ballet in front of the director. Since it's her first performance, she keeps failing to the point where her toes start to bleed. The director calls off her performance, so she heads back to her room, where her friend worries to see her in pain. Subsequently, she heads to the training center where she and other students are trained to fight, shoot guns, and perform mock drills. Eve finds herself weak when she's pitted against men during the fight. Her aim is not perfect, and she keeps failing the mock drill. Her master reminds her she can cheat and do whatever it takes to defeat her opponent, so she kicks her opponent in the sack and wins the fight. She also keeps her vision broad during the mock drills and doesn't let her partner get shot by the opponents. One day, she finds out the director has sent her friend away. When she confronts the director about it, the director admits that she lacked the killer instincts, unlike Eve. She believes Eve's deprived childhood makes her the best assassin out there. Eve's put to one last test, in which a former Ruska Roma is brought in front of Eve. Both girls get a disassembled gun and a limited time to shoot each other. Due to Eve's fast reflexes, she assembles the gun first and shoots the former Ruska Roma. One night, Eve and the other girls witness the fearsome John Wick being summoned to their theater over an inconvenience. The director disowns him for causing too much trouble and damaging the Ruska Roma's reputation. She brands him and dissociates his name from the Ruska Roma for their protection. Eve approaches him on his way out and asks him how one can escape from here. He lets her know that it's totally up to her. A few months later, Eve is finally sent on her first mission. She has to secure a girl from a club since her father's enemies are after her. When some men try to abduct the girl, Eve faces them without a strategy. They beat the crap out of her, but she doesn't stop and fights back. She shoots rubber bullets at them and uses an axe to get rid of the main guy. After comforting the girl, she returns home with success and gets a back tattoo. 2 months later, she's seen fixing her wounds after another mission. She takes a picture of the dead guy and sends it to the director, who wires $750,000 into her account. On her way out, we see that she's killed everyone in the club as a part of her mission. She now collects her knives from the corpses to make sure she leaves no evidence behind. When she drives away from there, an unexpected assassin hits her car and opens fire on her. She gets dragged along the car and survives the crash. She then combats with the man and breaks his arm, during which she spots the same cross sign on his wrist that the chancellor had. She cuts off his hand and brings it to the director to get some information out of her, but her lips are tightly sealed. She tells Eve that the man is from a dangerous cult, with whom she doesn't want to get involved. Eve is hell-bent on seeking revenge, so she visits Vincent in the Pearl Continental. Vincent also refuses to help her, so she redeems the coin and calls in a favor. Vincent leads her to a man from that cult, who's currently staying at one of his hotels. To get more information, he calls the bounty center and finds out the cult member has a $2 million bounty on him, which makes everything around him risky. Eve heads straight there and books a room right next to that cultist. She glances at a group of assassins in the waiting area who are led by someone named Lena. Eve infiltrates the cultist's room through the balcony, which Lena's sniper spots and updates everyone. Inside, Eve comes across a young girl and the cultist who goes by the name Pine. Pine turns out to be a gentle and nonchalant dude who's on the run with his daughter. He also asks Eve not to get involved with the Hallstatt cult when she shares her intentions with him. Lena gets the bounty amount doubled, so the assassins head to his room from the front, not knowing he's rigged it. One man gets blown up while the others barge in and open fire. Eve and Pine unite to shoot back at the assassins. Luckily, they don't kill anyone and make it to the elevator, where Pine promises Eve that he will give her the location if she protects his daughter. When they head out, more assassins ambush them, during which Eve protects the girl while Pine gets shot multiple times. Lena whacks Eve across the head and knocks her out. She informs the Chancellor that she's secured the little girl and warns him about Eve, assuming that she's after the girl too. When Eve wakes up, she and the other assassins are held accountable for breaking the Pearl Continental laws. She swears that she didn't kill anyone, so she's spared while the others are shot to death. Back to square one, she visits a local arms dealer to buy some guns. The Chancellor sends his men after her, who ambush her in the dealer's shop. The dealer hides in the back room, where Eve comes after him after running out of bullets. She gets her hands on some grenades, which she detonates to get rid of the assassins. The dealer, who had been keeping his mouth shut, takes the ambush personally and tells Eve the cult's exact location. When Eve makes her way to the cult, the director calls her and forces her to retreat, but Eve decides to cut ties with the Ruska Roma. When she arrives in the town, she gets eerie vibes from the people who constantly stare at her. At a coffee shop, she spots the ballerina ice globes that her father had given her and becomes doubtful. There, all the women and children leave as if they know what's going to happen. A giant man arrives there and opens fire at her. During their combat, the man overpowers her. But she somehow outsmarts him and kills him first. She heads upstairs, where the female chef also attacks her. They break plates at each other's heads, after which Eve gets rid of her. Suddenly, random pedestrians arrive to hunt her down, revealing the entire town to be a freaky cult. After killing all of them, Eve runs away. The tower guard spots her and reports directly to the Chancellor, who uses a loudspeaker to alarm the public and send it after her. People hide their kids and come after her with their guns. They beat her to the ground and aim their guns at her. Lena arrives and identifies her as Ruska Roma by her back tattoo. While the Chancellor talks to the little girl, who is his granddaughter in reality, Lena arrives and tells him about the Ruska Roma involvement. Chancellor inquires of Eve himself and has a hard time remembering when she accuses him of killing her father. When he conveys the news to Lena, she understands it and helps Eve flee by shooting her own team. She chases Eve to a house, where she reveals that she's her elder sister and that Eve is a part of their cult. Their mother was killed when their father escaped with Eve. Chancellor worries about what the sisters might pose if they unite, so he orders his men to bomb the place. Lena dies in the explosion, but Eve manages to escape. Now threatened, Chancellor calls the director and threatens to wipe out all of them. The director begs for a chance to correct the mistake by sending someone after Eve. The most awaited part arrives when John Wick gets off the train and faces Eve as his target. He spars with her while constantly giving her chances to leave. When she tells him it's a personal revenge, he allows her to carry on until midnight. If she fails, he will come for her. She agrees and runs off to find the Chancellor. First, she gets rid of a tower guard and then wipes out the first layer of assassins in the storage unit. She then finds their weaponry and selects a flamethrower to roast her next opponents. She easily fries all the assassins except one, who gives her a tough time. She nearly gets burned, but manages to escape, while she roasts some more men. Chancellor and his granddaughter are moved to a safer place after knowing John Wick is on the loose as well. Next, Eve's flamethrower runs out of fuel, so she uses a pressurized water pipeline to extinguish her opponent's fire. Her opponent nearly kills her in combat, but John Wick shoots him from afar and helps Eve secretly. Since Eve is running out of time, he starts killing the assassins because he used to be well acquainted with her father. At last, the Chancellor faces Eve to stop the killings and tries to manipulate her into rejoining their cult, as it offers family and love. She shoots him in the head and puts an end to her revenge. John Wick calls the director and updates her on Eve's victory. Eve unites Pine's daughter with him, who is surprisingly alive and hiding under Winston's wings. In the end, the director worries about what the cult might do now that their head is dead. In the film's end, Eve heads to the theater to watch the latest ballet performance, during which the Hallstatt puts a $500,000 bounty on her and all the assassins turn to her. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more awesome recaps.